Pain of grief obviously is very overwhelming. And really the crazy thing about grief, it not only just hurts, it also negotiates with you. Did you ever notice that? It'll tell you things like, hey, just stay in bed all day. Just stay away from people. You know you're a burden. This make your home as dark as you can. Don't go outside. Don't see the sunlight. Stay inside. Don't eat anything good. Don't eat at all. If you get hungry, just put something in your mouth as you walk by. If you work harder, longer hours, you won't hurt near as much. One of the greatest dangers of grief isn't feeling too much, really. We just have to learn how to be present with those feelings. The greatest danger of grief is not wanting to feel it all. It's doing everything that we possibly can to think of ways to escape the pain. Here's the thing about grief is no one ever really told us about the pain. Nobody says that this pain is going to be so overbearing that it's going to create so many different ways of which that you can try to escape those feelings and those thoughts that go around in your head. The problem is most of those feelings and thoughts aren't good ideas. They're normal, but we have to learn how not to give them power. I made a list of ways that we attempt to escape from grief. And I challenge you on this one too, to really write down some thoughts and feelings and some other comments that you might have of ways that you or of other ways to escape the pain. And I like to call these just red flags, things that pop up that you need to kind of be aware of as you go through the grieving process. And I think this is a good idea to do for you. And so please feel free to participate in this, and we'll just keep adding on to the list. And these are really easy traps to fall into. And I think the first red flag, I got 12 of them, by the way. I think the first red flag is going to be eating patterns. When you're grieving, your eating habits change considerably, but pay attention to them because there's usually three things that happen. You're either eating way too much because that's just kind of what we do nervously. And when we're in pain, the other one is not eating at all. We just don't have an appetite. And the third one is just not eating healthy at all. We try to find sugars and carbs and starches just to kind of do that. And having those every now and then it's not that big a deal. In fact, there's some days you just want to have a bad day and go sit in your bedroom and watch movies all day and cry and eat ice cream. That's okay. But pay attention to those patterns. Number two is sleeping all day. That's always a kind of a big one for many of us. We just don't want to deal with life, and so we just go curl up in bed and we sleep and we sleep and we sleep. Now, doing that every now and then or grabbing a nap here and there, we're not talking about that. We're talking about when those times in bed during the daytime get more and more and more and more. Pay attention to that because that will really mess up your sleep patterns tremendously and lead to a third one, which is not sleeping well at all at night. And I'm telling you, that was the worst time for me. It was night times. You pop up at 3 a.m, you can't go back to sleep and your thoughts are going crazy. So learning how to sleep during the nighttime and stay awake during the day really will help you out as well. Number 4 is kind of avoiding the pain and the hurt by not talking about the person. A lot of times we'll just get around our friends or whoever and say, I really don't want to talk about it. I don't want to say things. I don't want to talk about this person or talk about that or anything like that because just the thought of talking it just hurts too much. And I think the 5th one is also something is that you turn your home into a dark cave. It's kind of how we set ourselves up to prolong our grief and bring down our moods. And I think that's a big one because a lot of times we get so dark and depressed that we just keep our house looking like we feel when we need to address our house in the way that we want to feel, the way that we should feel to be a healthy home. And so you want to be sure that your house doesn't become a home. And another one too that leads to that is that you're not leaving your cave. You're not leaving your home. You're not getting outside. You're not interacting with other people. You're not seeing that there's other things around you. You're not exercising. You need to get out and see through the world around you. That's a very important thing to do. So, trying to get outside and leave your home is a really good pattern to get into, by the way. Number 7 would be this. It's work. And a lot of times we work too much to avoid having to be alone with our thoughts and everything that's going on in our minds. And so that could be bad. Sometimes wake up at 3 a.m, you can't sleep. All you're doing is thinking about it. I'm going to take off the office and work. And then you work through the night because you don't want to go home and be confronted again at that empty house, that empty bed, that empty place where y'all used to stay together. And so you just stay at work as long as you can till you get too exhausted, come home, and then pop into bed and then do it all over again. And so you end up working too much. So pay attention to that. It's just avoiding dealing with with what's going on in your grief. And the other one is just not working enough. The nice thing about work is that it kind of introduces us a little bit to some normalcy. We want to be normal as much as we can, even though we don't feel normal, even though we don't act normal. It's just a good thing to be able to do. It's just take the time to distract yourself, take a break from grief, and then just start doing the things you need to do to work. And be sure and you do that. So you also got to pay bills. That's a big part of what we got to do as well. So not working enough or avoiding work or finding reasons not to work is something that we need to overcome too. Pay attention to that as well. Another one is to moving on too soon. That's kind of a big one. I see people do that an awful lot. They can't stand being at the home that their child or their spouse was. So if I just sell the house and get rid of it, then things will get better. Or another thing that happens quite a bit is that we tend to think if I just get into another relationship, that all my problems will be solved and then that will go away. And then that creates all sorts of, that causes a lot of troubles as well in your relationship. So you want to avoid that as well. So don't move on too soon. Pay attention to that. The golden rule is 1 year to make big decisions. And that way you have to deal with what you have to deal with in your grief. There's only one way to deal with your grief, and that's to deal with your grief. That's the bottom line. Another one is we avoid the people we don't need to be avoiding. We have family, we have friends that really do care about us. And sometimes we just don't want to be around people. So we'll pull back and we'll push back. And that's kind of a big one too, because a lot of times we internalize, well, I don't want to be a burden on people. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. And I feel like this and I feel like that. So we need to avoid those thoughts as well. And quite frankly, what we need to do when it comes to friends is that we need to have, the friends are changing, right? That's one of the big things that surprises that we have is that I don't have any friends anymore. No one wants to talk to me. You need to have friends that will grieve with you. A friend is all you really need. Or a person. That's where you focus on intentional grieving. That's where you talk about your stuff. They don't mind. They hear what you like to say. They don't mind crying with you. They're patient with you. And so we have to continue to have those friends. And then we might go back to your other friends who aren't really understanding your grief. And it's okay to talk about whoever the main person is and say, hey, look, I'm grieving and I'm going to be doing this for a while. I'm not going to be myself, but I want to be with you. So don't treat me any different. I'm just not going to be my old self that I was for quite a while. And just let them know that you'll be going through this and that's okay. It's going to be awkward, but that's a part of friendship is they let you help you walk through that stuff along. So don't avoid friends and family. If you do, kind of pay attention. That's kind of a red flag as well. Another red flag is drinking too much. Got to watch that because a lot of times we feel the numb of that first drink and we just kind of get in the rhythm. And then one drink turns into two, and then two turns into 3 a.m. And then you're stuck. And then that becomes a pattern. And then it's just avoidance. We're just trying to numb the pain. And then the 12th one, obviously, is the same thing. We do that with drugs. A lot of times we get these prescription drugs, which is a big one for a lot of people, is how can I numb this pain? And it's also, quote unquote, legal. And so we got to watch those about the prescription drugs as well. And these are just 12 really red flags to consider, things to keep your eye on. And as I was saying, if you notice some of these things, or if you have other things, please make the effort to write down the notes and be a part of it. See, our effort right now with here is to try. What we try to do with our pain is trying to mask it. We try to avoid it. We try to do everything we can to muscle our way through it, but you really can't. We're just going to have to learn how to go through that as a community, as a people. And so in the course that I'm going to be teaching that I have, we're going to talk about that. We're going to address these red flags. We're going to set up a mentor for you, someone who is going to be a grief friend that you can talk to and visit with every single day if you need to help you process the things that you're going through, everything else. And so we'll be doing that. We're also in this course is going to be challenging you to kind of take the steps necessary to get you through the process of grieving, because grief is a long process. There's no question about it. There's no easy way to get through it, but you do not have to do this alone. That's the biggest thing. We're going to work to get you back into the game of life. So be sure and look at the website. Be sure and look at on my page. Do everything you can to maintain contact with me. If you're interested, direct message me. We'll get you set up that way as soon as the class comes out. So hope to see you then. Ciao.